this beautiful, beautiful Sunday evening on Focus on Liberia. We want to welcome all our viewers from across the globe. This is Focus on Liberia, and this is our grand year-end show. Guys, welcome.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for this wonderful time and just a wonderful host and everything. Want to say greetings to everybody. This is William King. I will be co-hosting with Dennis Jah. But it's going to be a very interesting show today because many of our other panelists they actually host or focus on Liberia. So we're having a year end, the 29th of December coming close. Looking forward to 2020 as we move into this wonderful year. And we have a beautiful segment scheduled for today where we're going to be talking about focus on Liberia, what it means to us in so many words, what we see for it for 2020. And we're also going to be asking our viewers, people like you who have tuned in, and asking you, hey, what can we do? How can we get this thing better and get this thing on a roll for 2020? A lot of stuff coming on, a lot of development. We got the political side, we got the social side, we got the economic side. We're just basically all things Liberia with a focus on it as our name represents. So without further ado, William King here, I'm the host, and I will pass it on to Ms. Danielle Knuckles. Please go ahead.
Thanks, William, and welcome again to our guests. Thank you for joining us. Just as a reminder, can you please like our Facebook page, Focus on Liberia, and also please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Focus on Liberia, where we post our videos from Facebook at the end of the broadcast. So once again, thanks for joining us. And as William explained, tonight is our year-end show. And so we'll be reviewing current events for the year and also just giving you our opinions on what has happened over the year and what we look forward to for 2020. So to start, just to introduce myself, my name is Danielle Knuckles Gishard, and I am a co-host here on Focus on Liberia. My educational background is in engineering and business. And currently I specialize in insurance and focus on retirement benefits as well as life and health insurance. I'm very passionate about Liberia, even though I was born here in the US. Being born to Liberian parents who are proud of where they come from, I too am proud of Liberia and hope for the best for the country. So I'm happy to be here tonight and share my opinion on Liberian current events. Anthony, to you.
Thank you, Daniel, and thank you to my fellow Focus on Liberia crew here. My name is Anthony Sie, and I happen to be the host of this network program that is called the Hour of Politics. So gradually, I'm becoming to be known as the politic guy. My professional background is politics. I love to say I'm a student of politics because I feel that we humans, we continue to learn and evolve and better ourselves. So I will gladly say I am a student of politics professionally. I don't work in that field right now, but I practice in that field in terms of, aligning myself with institutions that are into this business. And to be specific, just to clear the air, I am a member of the Democratic Party here in the United States. As we speak, I am not a member of any political party in Liberia. And so the reason I joined the Democratic Party is to learn more about this political process, to inform myself, to get unique understanding so that as I play my role here, focus on Liberia as the politic guy, I will be in the best position and equipped with the knowledge and understanding of the processes of politics to be able to interview our guests to get the best out of them to inform our people. I joined Focus on Liberia very shortly. I came here first as a guest following a June 7 protest, something I happened to be part of, talking about the one that was held here in the United States. And so I came on the show as a guest, to give reason why I was part of that protest and why it was also necessary. And that's how I became attracted to the network. I felt comfortable. And Mr. Dennis Ja reached out to me and said, well, you did well. Would you love to be part of our network? I said, oh, I was not thinking about this. So yeah, I am now a host, still learning, but being given, a very big platform, and I couldn't be happier to be part of this thing. This is a very, very a good thing to be part of. And I want to say thanks to my teammates who have been supporting me for your support, and also for Focus on Liberia for giving me the opportunity to better myself and contribute to the Liberian society. As we say here, I Focus on Liberia, we educate, we elevate, we promote all things Liberia. So I'm here to elevate the politics of Liberia, to promote Liberian politics, and also to educate all of us to the Liberian politics. And I want to say thank you to you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anthony. Let's start. Defu, would you like to say anything right now, or you wanna say something later? The main thing is, who are you? Where do you live? And how did you hear about Focus on Liberia?
Oh, all right. Thank you very much. My name is Depu Zuo. I got to join Focus on Liberia just in September when I came over here in the U.S. and I appeared on one of the shows on economic and business forums, to be specific on the issue of education, economic education in Liberia. And since that day, I've been a part of the business and economic forum. I'm glad that this kind of a creative and innovative idea actually derived from Mr. Ja and Alex and other guys who have been very forceful in making sure that we discuss economic issues about Liberia. For me, my area of interest is more about economic education, literacy, and making sure that Liberians are more economically sensitive than political sensitivity. Liberia, over the years, because of political sensitivity, I know from 1979 up to now, any young Liberian you will ask, what do you want to become? He's more thinking about how to become a minister, how to become a representative, how to become a senator. It's unfortunate that a country that has all the resources will just raise young people thinking more about politics, public policy issues, and not concerned about economics. So I'm glad I'm part of this forum. My background is as a consultant and assistant minister and later a deputy minister at Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And I think I can use my experience to share ideas and common interests of the Liberian people on this platform. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Depu. Thank you, Dennis. I know you don't take it for granted. People want to know about you too, so please share.
My name is Dennis Ja. I live here in Metro Atlanta, Georgia. I have a wife and family here. My background, as a child, I've been having interest in writing and reading, teaching. So I have co-authored 2 books along with my brother. I'm a blogger. I blog a lot. I blog on dennisja.blogspot.com. That's my political blog. I also review books and try to do some edits to some books. I love the tradition. So we have a novel and a folklore to my credit. I also blog on political issues, and I'm one of those who started this network with the aim of educating, elevating, and promoting all things Liberia. My professional background, where I work, is in healthcare informatics. So I'm a healthcare technology guy. Never, but because of the way Liberia is set up, so we all kind of practice politics as practical, but I've never taken political science or journalism classes. No, it's when you're growing up, it's things that we do and take interest in the country, very passionate about Liberia. I was very critical of government until at some point I had my own epiphany and say, well, it's better to devote more time to education and letting the people know so that we can bring them along. So yeah, I work here, in the healthcare IT industry, and I'm loving it.
Thank you very much, Dennis. Thank you very much. There's someone, Solomon Tar. He said we talk about focusing on Liberia. He said I'm already focusing on Liberia. He's watching from South Bend, Indiana. That is amazing. Someone else said you are objective, my brother. Very passionate about your country. Keep the good work up. And Solomon Tar said 1979 is when I was born. So somebody said they were doing something in 1979. But anyway, that is good. So a little bit about a little bit about me, and if there's another host that John will go back and circle back to you. My name is William Thomas Bernard King. The reason why I always say my name that way is because that's how my parents raised me to always say, advance and be recognized. I'm a Liberian from both my mom's side and my dad's side. And I live in beautiful state of California in Los Angeles. Let's see. I went to school for my major was public policy and management and a minor in business from University of Southern California. Something interesting. That's the same school that Benani Ure got his master's from. Can you imagine? And then, so my focus from there, I worked in the utility industry for 13 years for Southern California Edison, one of the largest producer of or buyer and user of renewable energy west of the Mississippi. $20 billion a year company. I don't see $1 billion of it, by the way. But did that utility, and also a big passion of mine is a real estate. So I've been doing both of those things for a while now, over the past 10 years. I'm very passionate about Liberia. Went back in 2012, stayed about 3 months over there. And since then, I've gone back several times. I was in there when Ebola first got started. I was lucky to kind of leave before, just when the first 2 or 3 cases. So that's something to know about me. I'm the president of the Liberian Association of Southern California. We are a community that is growing, that is striving to promote all things Liberian. My thing will focus on Liberia. I was going through and I saw this thing focus on Liberia from some of my friends on Facebook. And I tuned in, and it was, you would imagine Samuel Jackson and Alex Jones were duking it out. They were boxing each other on some topics. I said, oh, wow, something different. We're talking about the economy of Liberia. So I tuned in, and Dennis was the host. And when I looked on it, I saw you could call in. So I called in, give a few comments, made a few statements, and then from there also Depu was on there. And then I became friends with Depu, Dennis, Alex, and that's why I'm here today. We'll focus on Liberia. Now, one of the things you should know, and I think is interesting, is that I hope to start a fund. I hope to start a fund that focuses on development and capital growth in Liberia. Up to this point, I don't think there's anything that we have available that engages the Liberians in diaspora and also the Liberians in Liberia with a very specific purpose to see us put skin in the game for our own development beyond looking to the government. So it's a little bit long-winded. I think I took over the whole 10 minutes. You forgive me. But yeah, so that's where we are, the year end. So, hello to our host. Is there anybody else on in terms of our host, Dennis, that I can't see right now?
No, I think they'll come later, but now that's it.
Okay, for now that's it. So let's begin to transition into the next topic, right? That we want to discuss. And okay, good. So year-end summary. So Dennis, the year-end summary. Focus on Liberia. Anthony, I mean, look. This thing, man, the past, I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but I think there's so much going on in Liberia right now. So, we've had so much shows during this whole month. It's been heavy. So, Dennis, I know I was going to start with you, but why it's still fresh in your mind. Anthony, if you can talk a little bit about the politics stuff, I think our viewers want to know from that side what's going on.
Ken, thank you. And to our viewers who are still with us, we want to say thank you. Our year-end program is more so about us telling you what our network is all about. And for you to be here with us now for the short time we've been here, we want to say thank you. Here at this network, we're trying to do something different. We will always remind you our three major goals: elevate, educate, promote all things Liberia. These are our focus areas as we continue to run this network to benefit Liberia, promote things about Liberia. And so, yeah, on the Hour of Politics, which is the political program of this network, a lot we have been able to cover in a very short period of time. Mr. King, it's not a surprise that Liberians love politics. All the social media platforms you may have followed, if it is not about politics, you find few Liberians. But one is about politics, you find Liberians tune in and listening. Even if the politics sound so distasteful, they will still be there because it's about politics. And so here I focus on Liberia. We try to make the politics here hard, but safer and responsible, so that people will not be turned off, because not everybody enjoys the insult, the name callings and all that. No, not everybody enjoy that. And we also feel here, focus on Liberia, that the name calling, the insults when we're talking about politics shouldn't be part of our discourse at all. We want to elevate the discourse here and focus on Liberia. We don't want to shy away from the hot button issues that affect Liberians in our country. We can discuss, we can debate, it can be hot, we can go at each other's throat, but the name calling, no, we don't want to do that, because as we carry on this kind of conversation, we are not only projecting ourselves to the people that are listening to us, we are also projecting our country to the people that are listening to us. So we feel that we must do it better. We must do it civilly. We must do it responsibly. But to your question, we have covered everything there has been in politics, from protests. Today we had a show here this morning on the protest that's going on. The president made news the other time when he had an interview since he took office. There's a leaked audio. In the past, we talked about war crime code, which is another hot topic. We had an opportunity to talk about the delay of a Saturday. We talk about harmonization. We don't leave anything untouched when it comes to politics here at Focus on Liberia, especially on our program here, the Hour of Politics. And with Dennis' supervision and your support as team here, me being a rookie coming to the game, we've been doing our best, to give our people nothing but quality and responsible politics that will not turn them off, but that will motivate them to be able to listen, so that when they leave from here, they will leave with something that will better their understanding about the things that are at stake in our country. And so, yes, this is what we do here at the Hour of Politics here at this network Focus on Liberia. It's all politics. So yeah, we've been covering politics, and politics we will continue to cover. And another thing before I leave is that when we bring our guests, we push them, we ask them the hard questions, because Daniel wrote something about courtesan, where the whole country is divided, people opposition and ruling position, and nobody want to come to the middle. People decide what to listen to. If it doesn't align with them politically, they don't listen to that side. And we think that is not right. And we're trying to change that. This is what the network is all about. And thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. You keep saying before you leave, but I hope you're not saying you're going to get up.
All right, we're having some trouble with
But one of the main things I want to say is that please try to remember at least maybe 2 or 3 very interesting moments from some previous. Pass it on to you now.
William,
Dennis.
your audio is giving trouble. William, what are you saying? All right.
And then we're going to come back after we go with Daniel.
William, your audio is not good.
But
I believe Daniel is your turn.
Tell me something. So also on mute. No, okay. I was okay. Can you hear me now? Or
yes.
It's still okay? I was saying that I know this year. Share with us a little bit the experience you had interviewing the country giant, and then also the historian, the African American.
We're having some trouble with William, so let me pick it up from there. Here at Focus on Liberia, we like to cover all things, and I mean everything. So we started with, in fact, our first program was on politics concerning the election, the 2007 elections. We have gone into all kinds of areas, including our history, our ethnic groups, or hard button issues that are happening, agriculture, healthcare, and everywhere. So at some point, as the network grew, we decided to bring in people and other professionals to concentrate on main areas. So you will have like Mr. Ansoni Sie, who hosts shows on just politics, nothing but politics on the Hour of Politics. Then we have another a group that Mr. King is part and Mr. Depu is part of, the Business and Economic Forum. So all that is done on that forum is economics and business and finance, everything that has to do with money. Because we feel that politics in Liberia, what is discussed mainly on social media, is all politics, nothing else but politics. But the country is more than politics. The country, we as Liberians, we are gifted people, smart people, so we do something else besides politics. And someone who has been there with me doing all this is Danielle. So let me pass it on to Danielle to just buttress what I'm saying and take her own anchor at it.
Okay, thanks, Dennis. Just thinking about 2019, as William said, a lot has gone on in Liberia over the course of the year. And even just in this last month of December, it's like back-to-back things are happening that I can't even keep up with all of the events at once. You know, and again, what sticks out to me the most for the year is everything surrounding the June 7th protests. When we did our anniversary show earlier in the year, what we saw was that the June 7th protest generated the most interest in terms of viewers watching our videos. It was a great experience to interview Senator Komani Wisa. We got a lot of views with that show. And he gave his views on the reasons he believed the protests was occurring. And here we are now in December, and there's going to be another protest led by the same group. And I find it interesting that there has been a shift from, you know, who was supporting the protests on June 7th and who's supporting the protests now for December 30th. And so my question to you, Anthony, is, you were in favor of the protests on June 7th, so much so that you protested here in the U.S. as well on that date. What about now? Are you in favor of the protests? Were you happy with the results of the last protests? Just curious how things have shifted from June to now, 6 months later for December again.
Yeah, thank you. Excellent question there, and you are quite right. The June 7 protest, I was not only just a protester in that protest, I helped to also plan the protest. I'm talking about the ones that were held here in the United States, where we went to the Liberian embassy, and then we went to the White House, and we have petitions and all that. I was involved with the planning and took part in that protest. The June 7 protest, I believe, was more about informing our government, informing development partners, and our traditional ally, the United States of America, about the economic challenges and the management problems that our government continue to be engulfed with. And so that was the goal. And I think that goal was achieved. It was more about informing the people that I mentioned earlier about the situation in the country. And that was the goal, so that the government will get to know that, oh yes, there are a good number of Liberians who are not happy with the economic conditions in the country and actually want to see us as a government to do something about it, and to the development partner and our traditional ally, the United States, just to call the attention that, hey, there is something serious going on here, and that is best for you who have a role to play in the governing of this country to do something about it before things get out of control. That was the goal, and I believe it was achieved. And now coming fast forward to this protest, where do I stand? I believe that it is the right of every Liberian, any group of Liberian, to protest in the peaceful manner as required by our constitution. It is the right of Liberians to do so. And for those groups who have organized and will be protesting, it is their right. So I support the right of those individuals to protest. The reason I am not involved with the planning and I'm not supporting it physically with my money and everything as I did in the June 7 protest is the fact that I have become a media guy now. So I can't be playing that double role to be part of a protest that is intended, like some of them have said, that to bring the government down. I don't want to be part of anything like that. People will question my credibility. I know whatever I do, there will be questions. People will be able to say whatever they feel. But it is my responsibility now as a media guy to be in the middle. My job is to inform people about what's happening, and I can't be the one involved with protest. I can't be the one involved with politics. Anything I have to do with politics will be about learning, it will be about reading, it would be about, reporting and analyzing and bringing people and giving them the opportunity to explain what they know and ask them questions. That is my role now. So that is why I am not involved with the protest. So yeah, it is their right to do so. And I think they should be given the opportunity to do so. What everybody's saying is what I will also say, that it should be peaceful. The leaders bear the greatest responsibility to talk to people they are bringing in the streets, to remind them that the peace of the country must be protected at all costs, and to the government that they should be able to provide security for their citizens who have concerns and the wish to express their concerns. I think it's a good thing when we encourage protests. I believe strongly that when protests, that ingredient of our democracy is encouraged, people have no reason to resort to other forms of protest that can be deadly. An example is the one that we experience in Liberia. I think that's how I see it.
Thank you. William, you're on mute.
Danielle, you said, okay, I'm off mute now, right?
Yeah.
So, Anthony, I did not know that. I didn't know all along you were the one encouraging those people to get in the street in June, brother.
Yes, I took part in the organization or the planning of the one here in the U.S. and I am glad and thankful to God that it went peaceful, not a fly got hurt on that day. And I think if we are to encourage protest, we should encourage protest in a very peaceful fashion. And I'm glad that I had to be part of that. That's how it should be.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Dennis, please, the country giant, with the you said something about that. Did you mention it already?
No, I did not. I did not. Who's the country giant?
Oh, that you had an interview with that country giant. What's the name? German giant. The German.
Okay, you said country giant. Country giant is a political.
President, yeah. No. Sorry. German giant.
You're right. No, I during the course of the year, and Depu is also still here. During the course of the year, I had the privilege of interviewing a cross section of people, including, and that's the beauty of Focus on Liberia, because we interview people from different backgrounds, not all politics. So one of those was the giant German Gina, GGG.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It was interesting interviewing him and other people.
What do you think about that guy? I mean, will like people say, wow, here's a white Caucasian, here's a Caucasian guy embracing our culture and he's talking like us and everything, but we don't see no help from Germany.
No, and that's I had the privilege too of interviewing I think 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, when we interviewed Liberian communities across the globe. I don't think Germany is one of our traditional friends from all the way back. Remember the days of Ambassador Massacre and from that group?
Yes. Actually, they were the first one to recognize our independence before the U.S.
Exactly. But unfortunately, we have not done so well in probably maintaining that. Even people from Canada gave the same impression that, hey, Liberia and Canada, there's no embassy of Liberia here in Canada. We don't have anything, not even a consulate. And these are people that are ready to do X, Y, Z for Liberia. The same with Germany. That these are our traditional friends, and we've been there for a very long time. In fact, the VI language, the VI script was used according to what we learned in history, were used by Germany in the World War, in World War II. So there has been that link, but as a country, we've not done very well, probably post-war era, to be able to leverage that relationship. So we have the giant German Gina, who's currently in government in Germany, and he's so passionate about Liberia. He's so much involved in Liberia, and that's to bring to question the other things about dual citizenship and about Liberian citizenship and all that. We tend to look at Liberian citizenship maybe on skin color, and as a result, if you came here and took Liberian citizenship as an American, but you are still connected to your place in feasible Lofa County, or you are connected to your place in Bokonjere, people still, because you got a paper, they try to diminish that and think that by virtue of you staying in Liberia, even though you've been very corrupt in Liberia, you've been very dishonest, you have not even worked, you have not even visited your home county for the past 20 years, you are more Liberian than someone who is overseas, who has taken on another citizen, but at the same time, connected with his village and carrying on projects there. So with GGG, someone who's Caucasian, and he's still in Liberia not even more than 20 years. He said he was there for, I think, 7 years when the war came and he left. And since then, it's back and forth, but he takes so deep interest in the country. It's just part of him. He has stayed more in Germany than in Liberia. So sometimes you wonder, what the question I ask, why are you so involved? And it's something out of his conviction that he takes deep interest. He studied the colloquial and mastered it so well. And even up to now, he sits with the old people and learn something most of the people who claiming other people are not Liberian cannot even do.
Right, right. That is definitely something. Dennis, hold that thought. What I want to do, I want to see some of our viewers. One guy, Mark Freeman. He said, King, Liberia living in America have a big opportunity to bring investors into tourism sector. But why many guys are not thinking that direction? Then Francis Hina Sr. say, I have had the opportunity of appearing on your program a couple of times and find analysis very objective. Please keep up the good work in 2020. Anthony, I think this one is for you. How can a radio talk show host morph with a defeated opposition? Suedo is civil society. The COP group are defeated opposition plus radio talk show host. That is so I'm not understanding fully what that means. That's from Mark. So Mark, maybe provide a little bit of clarity on that. But those are just some of the comments that we are getting. Now, to your point, Dennis, you notice the GGG. Guess what, guys? In Germany, he has a political office. He's a city councilman. Can you imagine that? So this bug of a Liberian being involved in politics, I think he kind of caught it too. So when he goes back and he's in Germany, he's still involved in his in his civic duties. That is amazing. Danielle, I see you quiet. You know, we're gonna come to you next, and then after we're gonna come to you next. But one of the things I want to say to our panelists is this very interesting thought. Think about it this way. 14-year civil war, a lot of Liberians migrated to the US and to other nations. So the idea here is that when they go home or when they're going back home or when their kids go back home, are they viewed as foreigners completely? Or do the people still see them as children of the soil? Or have they now transitioned over to become the elitists just because they've lived in the U.S.? Anybody want to take that thought?
I'll go first. And
okay.
Now, as host on this network, I have had the opportunity to interview a few Liberians on the very topic of dual citizenship, which continues to be a very hot topic. And at the end of all the interviews that I've had with them, you will get the sense at the end of the day that these people, despite of what other thing is forfeiting of your citizenship when you acquire, nationality or the passport of another country, they still feel 100% Liberian. One interesting part is that if you went to your village that you're from, I am from Sastan, the town of the president and myself from the same time. The folks that know me there, when they see me, they see the guy they saw a few years ago who was on the farm with them, cutting palm with them, climbing the palm trees and the coconut tree with them. They see me as the guy who went with them, on the beaches, to swim and jump in the ocean and jump in the rivers. That's what they see. And maybe because the advantage is that I still have my native vernacular with me, my native tongue. I speak my language very eloquently. I talk to my dad all of the time. So for me, I believe that is the case with most Liberians, people from Lofa County and all the counties. When they show up at home and sit with their friends who they were with when they were growing up, I don't think they see them as foreigners. But the perspective tends to change when they try to aspire for political offices or office. And, maybe there is somebody there who has been in the town, and now you're coming from abroad, you want the job the guy wants, so that guy will throw in that card. This guy has been out of this place. How come he wants to be now? We have been, keeping the ground, so we are the rightful owner of this place. And that feeling tends to come about. I believe that in no way, if you went home and you try to make a farm, anybody will question, why are you making farm when you have been out of this place? So when it comes to politics and leadership, people thinking tend to change. I think that is what I have got.
Wow, Anthony, that right there is, I learned something today. So it's not a personal, it's nothing personal. It is simply a tactic card that is pulled out of the hat. So for many Liberians, when you go back home and the brothers start talking like that, like, oh, you coming from abroad, you can just smile at them and let them know, my man, listen, I know that kind of card that you're trying to play right now. Don't worry, I'm not running for office today, but tomorrow we'll do it.
And here's the thing, before I let Dennis come in, he will be able to chat on this too. If you look at the dual citizenship bill that is in process now, look at it. There are restrictions in there. Why you think they have the restrictions in there? Because they feel that Liberians who left Liberia, many of them for reasons of the war, they didn't make that voluntary decision, oh, I'm going to America, even if they did, all right? It is because we don't have much opportunity in our country, and when someone has the opportunity to come and learn, they should not be envied in no shape or form. So again, the point I was about to make, in the dual citizenship bill, there are restrictions. People should not run for the office of president, vice president, it can be representative, you cannot even be appointed to some ministerial position. Why you think that is so? Because maybe the folks on the ground feel that, oh, you have good opportunity in the United States. The very few we have here, you want to come and take it? No. So we restrict you when you come. You can make your farm, you can build your house, you can start a business. That you should do. But for this one, no, you shouldn't go there. And that's why it is.
Wow. Dennis, chime in. Well, let's hear from Daniel Depu on something very important. I don't know, maybe Dennis, you had your hand up, so please, if you need to say something.
Go ahead. Daniel or Depu can go ahead.
So we are in a very interesting situation now, because there was a Supreme Court decision, right? So there's a Supreme Court decision that said that that ruled in favor of that gentleman who was arguing his case that his citizenship is his to lose. It's not for the government to take away from him. So as we move towards this October 20th, 2020 mid-election time, it's going to be interesting now. Do we in the diaspora, do we support this referendum that was put out there, or do we say, well, the referendum is limited, let's just go with what the Supreme Court says? So anybody want to chime in, or Danielle, if there was something you wanted to say before about another topic, please go ahead.
Well, sticking with dual citizenship, as someone who was born in the U.S., I'm definitely a proponent of dual citizenship. Where I may differ from most people is that I do understand there being some restrictions on dual citizenship. I personally do not believe that someone with dual citizenship should be able to hold the office of president of Liberia. As a Christian, I believe the Bible says you can only have one master, so how can you pledge allegiance to the United States and Liberia in terms of security and what's best for any one country? I don't think you should hold allegiance to the country you're president or vice president of and another country. So that's my personal opinion. In terms of property and those things, that's my concern. As a child who was, born to Liberian parents who have, land and property, what does that mean for me? It means that I don't have any rights to it because I happen to be born in America. Thinking about it, if they get lions or giraffes from Africa and they bring them to a zoo here in the US and they mate and they have offspring, it's still a giraffe, it's still a lion. I'm still a Liberian, so I think I should have rights to my parents' property. So I think that's more of a concern for me than, those restrictions regarding holding elected offices. But I know lots of people in the diaspora disagree with that idea.
Well, I mean, it's a very interesting dialogue. Dennis, tell me something. Or Depu, you can chime in on this one. If people believe that the Liberian people as a whole are not critical thinkers, or they're not smart when it comes to, or astute when it comes to the political arena in voting someone in there, then if people believe that they will vote in the person from abroad, is that really true? Because if not, why didn't Alexander Cummings, why didn't he do too well in the election? Why is it that they went with George Weah? So I think we have to have some kind of faith in our Liberian people. Depu?
Am I coming all clear? Because
Yeah, you come out clear
on my computer.
Yes.
Okay, now this issue. First of all, you know, Daniel gave a very good opinion, especially when it comes to the dual citizenship. Let me say that when it comes to the political aspect, the citizens of Liberia are very sensitive. And one of the things that there is that you need to question what was the framers' mind, the framers of the Constitution. Why did they decide that, look, people of Negro descent only can be citizens, and besides that, they don't want to allow other people to become non-Negro descent to become citizens. And that's the same fear that the Liberians today are actually preferring, in a sense that, look, these powerful people, when they come and take over, they're going to take over our assets, they're going to take over all of our belongings. So the best thing to do is that we have to restrict them in terms of political influence. But one good thing that is there is that citizens who say this thing, they are not stopping us from doing economic investment. And I will tell you that the Liberian government subscribe, or the law is that if you, this is a free market system, you have to repatriate your resources, your investment anytime. And you got foreigners. In fact, if you look at the assets in terms of investment in Liberia, almost 60% of the investment assets in Liberia are actually foreign owned, not owned by Liberians. So we need to look at it. What is very much important here is that we want for Liberians to feel a part of the development process. At the same time, there should be no law to bar them from actually owning whatever property that they inherit from their parents or they actually own on the ground in Liberia. So for me, my proposal would be that despite the Supreme Court ruling, which does not actually confirm that indeed the 1972 nationality law itself, which of course was interpreted by the Supreme Court, is not a solution to it. We need to make sure that this thing is pushed to the referendum. That the Liberians themselves make a decision that people who are actually taking citizenship abroad to be allowed to do whatever they want to do. And I personally feel that state security, for national security and international development purpose, it is better that one who assume the highest office should not be a dual citizen. Now, back to your question, let me be very specific with your question now. People come from abroad and they don't easily extend or win election is that electoral process has what we call voice. Some people will always listen to certain voice over and over. And the next thing that there is vision. Vision means you have to see a person, you often see this person either in the newspaper or you hear in the mail or air, and that familiarity is there that give those people that are on the ground advantage very often. But if one comes from abroad and just jump into the process that have not lived with the people yet, it's difficult. And I said this to most of the Liberian politicians that are coming from abroad. While it's true that you have interest to ascend to leadership, it's always good for you to live with the people and make some sacrifices. Because those people, no matter what you do, even you go in a rural area, you give them money, everything, they say, but where has this guy been? Will he not take our secret to some places? Will he not betray us? So why can't we give it to someone who lives with us? And that is the whole thing that is happening in Liberia. When the Cummings came, in fact, 2015, a lot of people approached me when I was doing consultancy for African Capacity Building Foundation. I did a survey and showed that, look, the resentment in terms of foreigner in Liberia is simply because they are afraid to lose assets, their property. Then the next question was why strangers or Liberians that are coming from abroad don't win? So we don't know them, we don't trust them. So that was for 2011 election, and I did that. So for me, my advice to coming supporter was that, look, guys, let this man come on ground, be around, take position or own the business. Let him be a guy like Bernard. You read someone hearing the name every day, the man is appearing on other places, people will recognize him. But to just get in a race to become a president, it will be very difficult. But again, the result came out and showed clearly. It is important for those of us who participating in politics abroad and going back home. Another bad side of this whole issue is that even during Madam Salisa's administration, Liberians that came from abroad, a lot of them did not actually exhibit good character in public politics. Some held position in terms of corruption, they were embezzled, and at the end of the day, they have gone and come back to their residence. And the next thing is that the people tend to question, but are they sincere? So these are some of the resentment that you really have now in Liberia. I went to Liberia. It took me several months for even classmates of mine, people who sat with me, to actually embrace me in public offices, to even go for a meeting. They have that fear and skepticism. So we have to build confidence and just give them the assurance that, look, we are Team Liberian, we think the same way, and we are here to help Liberia. So that's what I think.
Thank you very much, Depu. As you can see, we run a wide spectrum of opinion and thought, and this is some of the year-end summary, some of the dialogue and discussion that we had. I mean, it just ran wide. We're gonna transition to another topic, but before that, let me read some of the comments some of the viewers said. Okay, so let me start with this one. This is from Jackson Nakanye C. Patrick. Look, guys. Once I still got my original Liberian birth certificate, you can't stop me from me holding an American passport anyway. Then someone else, Francis J. Hina said, Defu Zua, are you currently working with the government of Liberia? Julius Josh said, I want you guys to clear the air for me. If you hold two citizenship in time between the two, which one would you fight? Basically, if there was war, which one would you fight for, brothers? Josiah said, Focus on Liberia is a broad-based platform with the maturity and tolerance that accommodate Liberians irrespective of their status or creed, social or political alignment to be heard. Thank you. This is the access we want. Zoe Johnson, Mr. Dennis Ja, I want to congratulate you and your team for a job well done 2019. Even though you had some good time with the Canadian lately, looking forward to see you to you following up with us. Mr. Depu, Dennis, oh, that is true. You had a good time with that one. If you had two citizenship in times of war, who would you fight for? That's Julius. Salmon Tar, most Liberians voted based on sentiment. Mark Freeman says dual citizenship is better because if there is no dual citizenship, individuals who have citizenship in another country may create a problem and take away big amount of money and walk free to another. And Dave Josh said, why would you think that a Liberian who has naturalized in another country will betray Liberia? And that cannot happen the other way around. A Liberian is always a Liberian. Thus, there should never be any law that prevents Liberia from contributing to their country. Thus, fear of betrayal is a far-fetched and has no basis. Then lastly, Julius Josh said, dual citizenship is good, but not for Mama Liberia. So there you go. So that's just some of the flavors, ladies and gentlemen, we've had this year on the show. Agree and disagree, but once we are sure is that people enjoy the platform to speak. We're going to transition now. Dennis, what do we have next? Do you know?
Next in terms of what? Triple citizenship or what?
No, I don't know. No, I was looking because on my phone I had the information for the wrap up, so I wanted to look at the format we had. Right. Okay, good. We have we
William,
yeah.
before that, still on dual citizenship, we are trying to bring in just an announcement. We are
Yeah.
trying to bring in the lawyer who had a case at the Supreme Court, Councillor Tish Jallo. We are trying to bring him on focus on Liberia so that he can break down what transpired and what that means for the referendum and what that means for those who are seeking dual citizenship or fighting for it in Liberia. So
Yeah.
we are working on that to bring him on focus on Liberia. And we have posted our number. Pretty soon we want our viewers to join also by calling in and giving us a feedback. But as we go deeper into the program, William is going to announce that. But the number to call is 605-313-6004. The code is 791403. Some of our panelists, our hosts, our co-hosts, they are still on their way. So bear with us. This is the holiday season, so it's tough for some people to juggle many things. But we're glad.
Dennis, as you continue along that line, tell us 2020. What is 2020 hold in store for Focus on Liberia? What do you think?
And that's
Anthony.
And that's a question for all of us to
Yeah.
answer. But the vision here is to build the network. At the end of the day, we want to have those of us in America, we are used to CNN. So we want to build the Liberia CNN. Okay, and so most of us, if you go on Facebook right now as we speak, there are maybe 25 shows going on at the same time. And what we see is most of the time it's politics. So you see all these people speaking the same language, the same politics, and it's difficult what to watch. So we are focused on Liberia. We kind of scout and say, well, if your goals, your views, and your aims align with ours, that is to elevate, to promote, and educate all things Liberia, you can come and bring your show on our network. Okay, we like to be in the middle. We would like to be balanced, fair, respectful of other people's views. So if you subscribe to that, come and do your show on our network. Let's partner together. Just imagine that if you're on YouTube and because of your views, you are getting XYZ. If we put all that together in one big platform, and we are also able to, because of that, we are also able to generate that traffic that can make advertisers, big advertisers, to come and advertise on our platform. Because of you, we all benefit. So for 2020, what we tend to see is to broaden the tent and to make Focus on Liberia more accessible and more innovative, so that people will continue to trust us as the place to come when you want fair and balanced reporting. Education, things that nobody pick up on. Like we have a show that is doing very well. That's the Business and Economic Forum, where we come and talk finance, business, we talk economics. And the goal is not to just talk on the internet, even though talking is very good. And I hate for people to say, oh, you guys in America just talk. Yes, it starts with talking, and we need to talk. That's a form of education. So for 2020, we hope to broaden the tent and bring in more shows, so that people will find the need to know a one-stop shop for everything Liberia. And that will be here on Focus on Liberia. That will continue to be balanced, and that we branch up into the, and we started that already, branching up into the African immigrant and also the African American community, so that all these will be part of the package. Because Liberia, it's a blessed country. We have a long history, and a lot of who Liberia is not known to the current generation and even the outside world. We want to be the one to promulgate that. We also want to carry on some programs and projects in Liberia, because Liberia has a stance. If you watch social media and see what's going on there, you can see the young people need some direction. Okay, we need to redirect their energy, their passion, which most politicians have exploited to their own advantage. We want to be that group that will say, to redirect their energy so that they can do something else besides politics.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you so much. Danielle, I saw you go ahead.
Okay. Well, In line with what Dennis said, I really have enjoyed our edition of the Business and Economics Forum. And what I've told Dennis in the past before also is that I'd really like for this year for us to have an event, kind of like an investor forum, where we can bring people from the US as well and the government of Liberia possibly, and people who really want to invest their time and money into investing in Liberia. Based on everything I've seen over the last couple of years, it's really going to take private investors, people outside of government to help move Liberia forward and make sure that we don't really regress into, immediate post-war times. So that's something I really would like to do with Focus on Liberia for 2020, is to put together some sort of an investor forum with like-minded individuals. At the same time, too, I realized that business is affected by public policy. And so if we could just have dialogue with government and advise them on what can be done to help generate business and also just ease the pressure off of them as well. So that's definitely something I look forward to for 2020. Also, as Dennis said, just providing more content, Liberian content outside of just politics, and really educating. Even when we do talk politics, I appreciate that we are objective and try to bring all views to our viewers, all viewpoints. So that's something I want to continue to do, remain objective and educate our viewers on all the different stances that there are on certain issues. So that's what I look forward to for 2020.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you. Thank you. Alex.
Again, may I add? Yeah, if I may, we also looking at bringing people who will play the role of analysts, people with the professional expertise. Like if you are somebody who is a diplomat, your educational credential is in the area of diplomacy. You can also be a member of this team, this network, where when we have news that have to do with diplomacy, foreign relations, you can come and give your expert opinion. If you are in a security area, Focus on Liberia also needs you so that you can provide expert opinion and analyze the issue of national security. That is how it is done. CNN, like Dennis said, we try to model this thing, after CNN, we want to build a Liberian CNN where, a good number of Liberians can come and get their news and see how we're doing it here. We're not yelling. We're not going at people. We're trying to project a better image of our country, how information is disseminated in a more informed manner so that people who have authority on the subject, like in the hour of politics, what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get analysts. I don't want to be the one doing the questioning. When I ask a question, when the guest answer, I want our analysts, our political analysts, to come and put some context, or content around it so that our people can be much more informed about the issue that is being discussed. And that is why we want to do. So if you are out there, you don't necessarily have to be a host to be part of this network. If your role or what you want to do is to just be an analyst, to be on a program, you can come and join us. And I think Liberians will appreciate you for making that contribution to your community.
Oh, and to add to that also, Anthony, I'm really hoping that this year, 2020, we can get on the radio in Liberia as well. I know that's something that Dennis has talked about in the past. It does cost money to air, a show on the radio in Liberia, but that's something we really would like to work towards for 2020. Definitely.
Okay. Thank you.
And,
Alex. Oh, Deppel, who's that? Deppel?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Thank you. I think I listened to CA his suggestion about having analysts is something important. Which of course the Business Economic Forum have been doing it. We hope that next year we will be able to have experts on Liberian issues, especially in the economic area and finance, that we can be looking at topics. And interestingly, this year we were able to discuss the issue of tourism. It was very exciting, and we also discussed about diaspora investment. And there was a time that William King actually got interested and joined on board. And I think that next year we will be looking at so many issues that are very important in terms of how best to spur growth in Liberia. And one thing I want to agree is that we can have a radio program in Liberia. You can still use the internet service or the Facebook page, but it's just the issue of the time. What is happening here is to change the time. Once the time is in the day, many people in Liberia will be willing to listen. And as they listen to us, they will get attracted to the program, and most of them will be able to be a regular listener and viewer. So that's my suggestion. Most of our program, even though our work schedule in the United States kind of difficult, but we need to have program that will be able to be held in the day, either in the evening or early morning hour in Liberia.
And William, before you come in, let me speak to two things on that programming. And that's why we are growing the tent. Now we have Mr. CA, whose program, the Hour of Politics in the day. And as we go along, we find hosts and other programs that we can shift the time, because we don't all work 9 to 5. There are people who work after hours. And so we have those people, and there is a fit, we can have their program in a day. And we're talking about, and we still need to broadcast in Liberia on the radio so that it will reach outside of Monrovia and reach other people. We have made the efforts. There were some who promised and then it fell apart. We are everything in Liberia. They will tell you this is not Liberia you knew, it costs money. So we have to pay every month. There's a monthly payment. And so we'll be coming back to our viewers, to our people of goodwill to help. But as it stands, even people ask us, sometimes we want people on the program, they ask us, oh, how much does it cost? Here at Focus on Liberia, we do not charge money. People come, and we even go after people to come and promote their programs and whatever they do. There are some people who do, like I think less than a month ago, we have a group of Liberians, an NGO, the Liberian Medical Mission. They are heading to Liberia with a medical mission. People like that, we bring them on, so has to showcase what they do and their program, so that people will be informed about their work, and also to help promote the kind of selfless work we're doing. We've just been approached today that there is a lady from Monrovia who has a program or a foundation. So she wants to come on Focus on Liberia and talk about her foundation. She's now planning a major event, and that's something that we're going to get in the queue so that it happens. That's all we do here. And as time goes by, we hope to get the resources so that we can cover more of these things. The last time when there was a EULA Diaspora conference, and we're there to bring it live to our people, so that even though our equipment, we don't have those equipments that we need, but we can use our mega resources, use improvised, and we're able to show people that what was going on. So these are all in the pipeline, and as we go into 2020, we are thankful for those who have been supporting us, and we'll be counting on your support.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Alex. I know you've been on silent right now. The question is Focus on Liberia for 2020. Would you care to chime in on anything? What do you see for 2020?
Oh yeah, well, thanks again for having me on, and I want to also thank all of the panelists over the years. Daniel, we never got a chance to exchange, but I'm a big fan of yours. I think you're one of the pioneers of FOL, and thank you for laying the foundation that some of us can follow. And again, all the people who have expressed interest, and the ones who have come in, like Williams and Mr. Zoe and Josh Lopo. So it's become a thing that Liberians now can be proud of. They can have a place of their own and get the issues. We don't have a newspaper in our community. We don't have a television station. So it's important that we have some kind of medium of which people can, get, objective information. I think Daniel mentioned that, where we want to be balanced and we want to be fair to every party, every community. To answer your question as far as next year, I think we'll have growth and we'll bring more people on. We'll be more innovative. As you see, our whole platform is an innovative endeavor. We don't have a transmitter or we don't have a FM station at this point, but everything is technology driven. And so that's a good thing. With technology, we can do immensely more quicker, more efficiently, and have a greater impact. So next year we'll be introducing a lot of new technology. We'll also be bringing in a lot of designing more shows around different ideas, whether it's personal relationships and counseling. There's a lot of things that affect our community, and information and education in all those areas is going to be very key in our development. And sometimes we think of development, we just think politics. But people are struggling in different areas. Whether it's primary education or it's health or it's charitable endeavors. We want to cover all these things and become the source of objective, good information. We're open source. If you have an idea out there, pitch it. Let us know. Hey, I want to do a show on the tourism industry in Liberia. That's my focus. I want to do a show on physics. Or the airline industry. So those are some of the things I think this coming year will be involved in, being more innovative, bringing shows beyond just the economic and business and the politics, which have it's kind of taking on. People love it. People watch it. They're not always happy with the level of objectivity, but we encourage that. That's the only way we can build a better country. Again, I'm very proud to be a part of this wonderful team and the leadership and, Dennis and all the people who started it. They were selfless. They created something. They didn't put a name on it and say, this is mine. They opened up to everybody. And so it's one of those entities in Liberia that is inclusive, it's worked, and it's still working. And I think this coming year will work even more. So again, thank you for allowing me to be a part of it.
Thank you, Alex, so much. Anthony, is there anything that you wanted to bring up that someone mentioned that piqued your brain a little bit that you say you forgot to add?
Yeah, I will just add to what Alex said. We need to make investment is something that we need to do as we enter into the new year. He talked about new technology. If we are positioning ourselves to be the alternative network that Liberians can trust, that means we also need to make the necessary investment so that we can be able to provide a quality TV that Liberian people want to see, that will represent something that they can be proud of. So yes, we will make investment, especially at the hour of politics. Politics being so contentious most of the time, if we are talking about something on the hour of politics, we want to be able to share a video of that so that people can know that what we are saying is something that somebody might have said or said. We want to have that. So we're making investment into technology so that we can be able to play video clips. We want to be able to share pictures. We want to show news articles if possible and read few lines, especially the key ones. And then we can ask questions, and then our analysts can be able to provide analysis so that people can know that we are not just picking things from nowhere and just saying it on our platform. That is what we want to be able to do here, focus on Liberia. So yes, we want to make the utmost investment so that we can provide quality for our people. And as the network grows, maybe people will want to bring their advertisement. We want to be able to have the technology, the infrastructure to be able to do that so that we can promote Liberian businesses in the US and also in Liberia. This is Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia. This is where we promote all things Liberia. And so promoting all things Liberia, we have to do it the business side too. You know, in advertisement, maybe we can promote Ma Musu Kitchen that is somewhere in Douala. Bring your little advertisement here, we can play it, and so that we can promote you and so that you can get your business going. Yes, so that's what we're planning to do.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was definitely some good stuff on where we go in 2020. I think if I want to summarize this, I think that maybe where the rubber hits the road is, let's get some advertisements. I think if we get some advertisement, it will be really going in the right direction. If we get a couple of professionals, which we're kind of already on our way to doing that with the whole DED TPS, get the expert advice and opinion on that. And also, Daniel, you covered something about a forum. Wow, that's a big leap. That's huge. But after all, you're a Knuckles girl from Kearsburg, so I know, it's not impossible. It's not impossible. You make me smile on my face. Okay, guys. So, question, challenge for 2020. One of the things I think about when I look at challenges, standing out from the other shows that are out there. What do we foresee? Will we be competing for audience? That's something maybe as a challenge. Anyone want to chime in before we move on to what we can do better?
Yeah, let me do that. The first thing is whatever you do on earth, you are competing, whether you like it or not. You're going to compete with people. And the first challenge that when we started the focus on Liberia was, okay, some will come and say, well, you are not. Okay, let me start this way. If you look at like sports in this country, at the stadium, when people are playing sport, you have more people than when people are in church, right? So there's competition. So we are competing for audience and people and views and everything. So you find out that if you are doing a show that is full of drama, that is politics, you have more people. And so there is a temptation to say, okay, I'm going to do all politics and create drama, even exaggerate, and sometimes report fake news so that you have all the views, you have all the people. So there is that temptation to go after where the people are or where their interest is. So as a group who try to stand out and do something different, that's tough to say, well, we're going to stick to our guts, we're going to stand our ground and still do the right thing, still cover everything Liberian, even if nobody is watching for now. What we intend at Focus on Liberia, what we always say is that we are writing a book. Some of the things that we cover, you may not be interested in them now because there is protest in Liberia. So why are you talking about the economy? People do not see the link easily. So as a result, they may not want to watch. They may want to go on a show where everybody is fighting everybody and there is some drama, or there is some video that is being shared that is not too pleasant, but it is extracting the views. So that's our first challenge, to be able to stay on course in spite of the challenges, in spite of the competition, to take us in a different direction so that we can have the Facebook likes, the clicks, and the view. Oh, we hit 10,000K, we hit 5,000K, even if there's no substance. That's the challenge. And then remaining on course in spite of all these things, all the group of people coming up. I mean, you are, and as a whole, sometimes it becomes a little tempting that you are doing a show, you have made all this research, you have contacted all these people, and someone with the expertise, with the brain, with the experience and the knowledge, and that person, you sometimes take a year to go after them to be able to bring them on Focus on Liberia. And how many people watching? 40 persons or 20 persons. But go on another show where somebody is just spewing nonsense, as Alex Jones would say, and the views are through the roof. So how do you stay focused on what you plan to do and still maintain that balance instead of being swayed here and there to follow the view. So that has been a challenge. And I'm fortunate to be working there with dedicated, smart, and talented young people and people that are Liberians that are, helping to balance to steady the ship.
Thank you, Dennis. I think we got someone that has been listening. Mark Freeman, he said this. He said, King, I am into the youth empowerment, agricultural, sports, and business sector. I would like to participate. I think we should let Mark know that we are becoming so popular that now he's gonna have to pay to play. No, Mark, we're gonna reach out to you. Definitely gonna reach out to you. So, guys, the next thing I want to talk about, and sorry, my computer is a little bit, it's working very fast. So what can we do better? And then closing remarks. I think that's where we are, but we want to open the line. Oh yeah, let's open the line to some folks who are listening and see what feedback we get. Is anyone available?
Now, if you are listening and want to join the discussion, please call 605-313-6004. The code is 791403. You have been watching us for a year now, some 2 years and counting. We need a feedback from you. It's because of you that we are here. So we want to get your feedback. Tell us, straight talk. We don't eat crap with shame. And tell us how we're doing.
Oh, we're doing good. We're doing good. We're doing good. That is so true. Wow. Guys, do you know, as we wait or we give a caller a little bit time, you remember we had the interview with Amin Modad. Remember? We had that. And something interesting, he recently finished, remember he spoke to us that he was going to open up a small beach, I'm not going to say it's a resort, but he was going to open up a beach venue. I don't know if anyone knows who Amin Modad is. Daniel, do you know who he is?
Yes, I do. The owner of Bella Casa Hotel in Liberia. And
yes.
Did appear on the Business and Economic Forum, as you said. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's about to open up his beach venue. So he has a guy now. He's the hotel area, and he's into the agriculture, palm oil, and different things. And now he's doing his beach venue, and that's something that we spoke about on. Focus on Liberia, and I think that there has to be something, there has to be a way, and I think as we move into 2020, look, the political climate, Anthony, please, from your show, when you hear, I always hear this, which is constant. It's investors, this environment is not the best environment for investors, right? People always say that. And then you get the message from maybe coming from the minister, right? That's saying that, hey, we are paying our debt and so forth. We want people to come to invest. Do you know that they are going to, when you import cars, before they would charge you on the blue book value, but now they're going to charge you input taxes based on what you pay for it. Do you know that? Do you know that if you have any agriculture equipment that you're going to be shipping, they're going to be removing the import duties for those right now? Very, very, very interesting. Do you know also that the central bank, they're looking at issuing bonds? Of course, not saying whether they're good or they're bad, but basically they're trying to look at different ways to attract dollars into the economy from the diaspora. So those are some of the things that from the economic forum that we try to look at and see if it's something viable. Is it just a rumor, or is it something that's really happening, and so forth? and bring on different guests from those sectors to talk about it.
William,
Yeah.
hold that thought. We have a caller on the line, but you started something about, you reported about Mr. Adar, and we
Yes.
have some of even when we have some of those kind of reports. So let's give chance to go around and see. I think we are getting such feedback because I
Okay,
got some
go
of those
ahead. Go
feedback I
ahead.
want to share. But
Go
first,
ahead.
let's get our caller. Let's get our caller who's going to give us a feedback. Hold on. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
Hello, this is Eastman calling from Washington, D.C.
Mr. Eastman, welcome to Focus.
Mr. Eastman, welcome.
Yes. Hey, Dennis, I've been a fan of the show for a while now. And even when there were not very many viewers, the topics have always been refreshing, intellectual. I mean, things that, have definitely grabbed my interest. Now that I see you bringing more debaters on the program and entertaining, feedback from the audience, I think that might, help popularize the show. A lot of promotion will have to be done around the show to make it popular. If you even have to partner with other stations, or you have to increase your web presence, and you may have to advertise on other pages and various. But do not stay true to self. That's what I want you guys have. Always maintain a superior intellectual forum. By entertaining, being as honest and as cordial to all your participants. I don't see a particular slant, whether you're pro-democratic or pro-republican. That may translate to being pro-government in Liberia or pro-opposition. I like the middle stance. You report factual information, and you allow people to express their opinion in a cordial way. Stay true to core. It may not be as where you want it to be there, but there are ways to get it there. And like I will mention, that increase your web presence. Develop more listener communication. You're already uploading your shows to YouTube, which is excellent. I think we can always catch a repeat view. There are going to be some hot topics that will get more and more people listening. But stays true to core, and I think it will represent something we don't have in our Liberian community, and that is an intellectual forum with unbiased and cordial. So I just want to give you your props, and of course we will support it. If you do need support for the station, we will offer you any kind of financial support. To keep it going. Maybe there's some T-shirts and stuff you can offer in return. I noticed Liberians love T-shirts and hats. I think that's a good way to get support from your listening public. So I was just calling to enjoy the show again and to encourage you. Don't change. Don't switch. I mean, build up the show, but stay true to self. And keep it going.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you,
Okay.
Jimmy. We're gonna definitely implement that. I just Dennis, I mean, in about 1 week time or less, we're gonna set something up for our T-shirts and hats. We only simply say that just expect to get it in 3 weeks shipment. That's all. That's not bad. We collect the money and then we fulfill it. That's true business.
Thank you. And Mark or William, as you were saying about giving that feedback and report on what Amin Modari is doing, we had the privilege of interviewing Mr. Alex Devine of the Youth for Change Incorporated in Monrovia. So one of his things he was saying was he was calling on government to organize a youth summit where it will bring. He's already working with youth across the country through the inter-high school quizzing competition. They have a debate and quizzing. They have extended to elementary schools as well. So his idea was to have the government organize a youth summit where all the young people will come together and, you know, say what is affecting them, how their issues can be addressed and all that. So we push him on the show to say, well, why are you waiting for government to organize a youth summit if you are already with the youth and you know them? So why are you waiting for government? He called us and said, well, he said, you might have not noticed, but when you asked, you challenged us to go and organize this thing. I'm happy to report that it has been organized and we are going to do this every year, a youth summit to be held, and he gave the whole breakdown. So just happy to report to our audience that what we are doing is yielding fruits.
Definitely, definitely. That's very encouraging. Anybody else wanted to say anything? I know you mentioned Dennis about Amin Wadad, the stuff opening that stuff, him doing his business over there, or anything that I mentioned. Was anyone aware of that? Right now, things are getting overshadowed from the political side. But did anyone know about some of those things that the government is offering right now to move the agriculture sector forward? Did anyone hear about that?
Let me come in. Another suggestion I want to give. This is the food. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay. You know, Liberian community here in the United States have conventions for their country, convention from alumni association and all of these things. These are some of the marketing avenue that we can take advantage of, Mr. Ja. And I think that when you get in touch with them, whenever they're doing their annual plan, when they have their annual convention, it's good for focus on Liberia, be a part of it to cover that up. That would be another way of reaching out. And another suggestion for the marketing, we can see how best Facebook, when you boost the Facebook page, and sometimes it gives you access and you got more viewers. So that's something that we have to think about. But in terms of the sector issue in Liberia, I think we look at the tourism, and from there we touch our energy, electricity. One good thing we need to be looking at after the New Year break to be agriculture, which I think somebody that didn't show up the last time will be waiting to come over to speak to us on agriculture. And the government is thinking about who are going into that sector now. We need to get them on board to see how Liberians can invest back home. You might either stay and buy a share, or you might either invest in the farming so that instead of buying rice in the United States to import it to Liberia, the person can buy the rice on a local market. So these are some of the strategies I think we can adopt in terms of agricultural development. So thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, Depu. Anthony, please, definitely, I want to hear your input on this before we move on. Is how challenging is it when you have the political opponents and everything? They're using all their, I guess you can say, every kind of tool, be it anything they can get their hands on. To make their party appear to be the best choice. Do you see sometimes in your dialogue how listening to some of those rhetoric impacts economy, or do you think that it provides a little fear of investing in Liberia?
It surely does, and I think you always hear people say that there got to be this enabling environment. I don't think that is restricted to economic incentives, business incentives that will encourage people to be able to invest. People must also be sure of security that if they put their money in a particular country, their investment will be safe. So that is more so to the issue of political stability. If you have political instability in a country, where there is too much political tension as it is now in Liberia, that is something to make an investor to say, no, I am not going to go into the country. I believe that people have the right to protest and should be able to protest, but when protest is being amplified, when propaganda is serving as a catalyst to instill fear in people that when you protest, protest brings a war, and when an investor hears about this news of war, this drum about war, as a result of people wanting to exercise their political right or their freedom to peacefully assemble, it tends to scare investor away. So yeah, the political climate needs to be stable. That is why all of us as Liberians, especially our political leaders, will make sure that there is stability, political stability in a country. Because when a country is peaceful, politically, and also then the economic incentives for business people will encourage them to come, because they must be sure that there's no unrest in the country. Then they can go down for the economic incentive, because the man can be looking at the rates being that high to invest his high-end dollars in that country. Because at the end of the day, the business person is all about making profit. And our leaders need to see that also, that whatever they do, it should be for the benefit of the people they represent, and not for them to be able to hold on to power at all costs. So yes, the stability counts, in my opinion, the most when it comes to investment, and that is why people continue to use that. The enabling environment must be created for investment, and that enabling environment is not only restricted to the economics, it also applies to the issue of political stability.
Thank you very much on that. Thank you. Folks, we're coming close to our wrap up now for this edition of the year-end summary. So in closing, we want to start maybe, those of us who we can't see their faces. We're just joking. But Alex, you have a beautiful picture. I have a feeling you just did this so we can see this beautiful $10 million picture.
Actually, I did. Actually, I did. So I think people are tired of seeing my face or hearing my voice. So I try to do that. Anyway.
So Alex, wait. Yes, the question. The question is, okay, what is your vision for Liberia over the next 4 years? And what are you going to do about driving your vision?
Well, one is we need objective media. We need education. I think the people are polarized in Liberia. I think the misinformation has what led us to the war. It's leading us to poverty, where someone comes and says something with no substantiation, and people follow it because we have a highly illiterate and uninformed society. And so when I personally decided to get more involved in Liberia, I was looking for a means to do that. And, and that was one of the issues for my studies, that, you need to inform the nation, and you need to first define what the issues are, what the topics going to be to discuss Liberia. It cannot be, I don't like Dennis because, Dennis took my girlfriend, or Dennis has a nice clothes, or Dennis, live a better life. It has to be something more objective. So my vision is that, one, people must be informed, and that information should come from a broad source. It should come from an independent source. It should not be where Alex Jones show you come on and Alex Jones is there to promote himself. It should be something where if Alex Jones says something and it's not correct, Daniel can say, well, what you just said, I did MBA too. I have a background in, this is not right. This is not correct. So that's what one of my visions is going to be, is to make sure that this and other network and other individuals, whether they are political individuals, they call themselves leaders, that we hold them accountable. That they never in Liberia history or never going forward will allow people to get away with things, whether it's corruption, whether it's, just coming to the scene just for popularity or not delivering on what you promised. Because I believe that, it's for our country, and we all have a stake in it. Whether you're in Liberia or you're not in Liberia, or you came here when you're 5 years old or you're 30 years old, you're not more Liberian. You don't have more entitlement than anybody else. And so the idea that certain people feel because they've been around in politics or their household names that it gives them more weight, they're mistaken. And furthermore, I'm totally against the fact of investors. We are the investors of Liberia. We spend over $400 million in Liberia economy every year, sending money back home. Why should I want somebody to come from France and make money out of Liberia? Our government should be calling upon us. Our government should be hiring us. Our banks, we should be running our banks, like people do in Ghana, in Rwanda, in Mozambique, and in Botswana. So the idea that we always sit there and want other people to come and benefit, whether it's Lamco or it's Metal Steel, we have just as much competent people here. We have surgeons, we got doctors, students, MBA, that can go to Liberia and run these things. So our government failure to believe in its own people are some of the things I'm going to be pressing on. We started the editorial already. We're going to be going into the print. And the gentleman just said we're going to hold true to our, to our value. Our value is that we're not here to support anybody, interest or any political fashion or any norm. We're here for people to get objective information no matter where it comes from. Right. We call on Mr. Josh Ria to come. Call on Mr. Henry Castle to come. We don't want a situation where you kind of have a bully pulpit. We know in Liberia, the only means of communication comes from LBS, which is a state-owned broadcast. They're not objective. So if you go on LBS as a leader, I'm not going to listen to you because the questions that they're going to ask you are all going to be to promote your interest. If you say you're a leader of a country or or movement, you want to open yourself to scrutiny. That's why, you have CNN, you have PBS, you have all these independent news sources, and they give great interview to all of them. So FOL, for the next 4 years and going forward, we want to be that independent, objective media that is going to give access to everyone, hold everyone accountable, including Alex Jones, primarily.
Alex, I want you to continue along those lines. I know, and I want Depu to respond to that too. As to the feedback you are getting, I know you've been doing the Business and Economic Forum right here on FOL. What is the feedback? And that same question will be asked to Danielle. You've been doing a lot of interviews, and Mr. Sia, you talked a lot about the hour of politics. You've been co-hosting with me on our debate Friday. So I want to get feedback. What are the feedback you're getting? Let me start with you, Alex. We go to Depu, Daniel, and then Mr. Sia.
To be honest, the feedback is beyond my imagination, what I expected. And even when you talk about the number of people who are glued to the shows and are participating, taking an hour, 2 hours to listen and post questions, it's amazing. It tells me that Liberians are hungry for truth. They're hungry for ethics. They're hungry for people who will stand up for what is right and speak, in an objective way. So people respond. Of course, there are times where, of course, people may say something maliciously, or you can tell that they just don't like what you're saying. Look, they criticize Jesus Christ. Okay, trust me. Criticism of me, the only thing I would like for the people to do is when you criticize me, when I make a statement or I say something, come on the show call. If it's wrong, show me the proof, and I will apologize right there and then. But if you go ahead and make a statement to what somebody has said simply out of malice or because the person doesn't support your view or your hero or your figurehead, then that's also fine. But the feedback has been tremendous. More people are coming. And again, I just want to touch this last point. You don't have to be on the cameras to participate or help your country. We're looking for secretaries. We're looking for people who can help us in marketing. We're looking for people who want to be behind the scenes. This is an open platform for every Liberian. This is something that we want to change the psyche of the country. We want to make sure that we take responsibility as the current generation to end this madness in Liberia called corruption, called, just people pit against each other for political reasons. We want to change that, and that's what we've been doing, and the feedback has been tremendous, beyond my wildest imagination. And most of the time, I'm surprised it's even politics because I'm like, man, I'm seeing all this thing about your popular people and you're still, kind towards me. So, but thank you for watching and supporting. And I believe in the Liberian people. I believe that our country will be great and going forward, but it will depend on us to do that and hold that mental.
Depu, you have anything, any feedback?
Yes, I think there have been some comment whenever we do the economic and business forum. I can always look at the story and see some comment. One of the things that there is that many people are very much serious about what we say, and sometimes our comment after the recording, people we need to go back and see what are some of the reactions. Then we can bring it back to the next discussion. Maybe there will be some questions and we need to address the question after the show. Having said that, one thing that I want us to do is very much important. And one of the listeners told me is that we need to look at the topic and look at issues that are actually affecting the society. One of the things that there is that many people have not been able to delineate between political issue and economic issue. Once we start to bring issues up that affect the life of the common people, they will be able to convince people, and many people will be coming to listen to the show. And some of the guests that we also inviting are people, should be people who are well informed. So these are some of the comments that I got so far from some colleagues who have listened to the show. And I think, to be very frank, Mr. Jai, I must commend you for the idea. Like you said before, something that is not a part of the system to introduce it. Reform is difficult. It takes time. So what we need to do, not many people would like to listen to issues that are cultural issue, economic issue in Liberia on air, unless it's political. It has to do with politics. It has to do with government. So when you introducing such things, you just have to be patient. And in the end, what we need to be doing now is to look for some natural leaders, meaning people that people can actually converse around. Some of them will be in a position to say, look, maybe we look at Dr. Tipote and say, Dr. Tipote, we are inviting you to come on Focus on Liberia, especially Economic and Business Forum. Over 32 years, you did economics, and now we see you on the political side. What are some of the common things that you think that Liberian people believe in besides politics that can change the lifestyle of Liberian people? It becomes a very attractive way of getting people around this show. And these are some of the ideas that I'm thinking about. Maybe instead of considering them as politicians, we say, no, we haven't called you to discuss politics. We are discussing you to discuss culture, for example. Why a Bassa man behaves the way he behaves. Why a Bassa man, he welcome you and give you dumbo. Why you go to Maryland County, they give you pepper with a cola. These are some of the things that people in the diaspora, some of our children or people who will view the show will be able to know. There are unique things about Liberian culture. There are unique things about Liberian economy. There's something that's very much peculiar that we need to go after. So these are some of the things that we need to bring in to give flavor to the show. So let me take leave of you now. I'm on the highway. Thank you.
Thank you, Depu. Thank you.
And Danielle, I know I first met Danielle at the Liberian Association of Metro Atlanta, where she was acting secretary in the organization. And since then, we've been working together. So Danielle, what's your feedback that you were getting from the people ever since? I know when you go to function now, they welcome you like a rock star.
Sure. So most people know me to be pretty quiet. I don't talk a lot. General feedback is people are surprised that I am on here. When I go to family events, I'm surprised from certain people to hear that they watch. They tell me that they really enjoy the show. I've had some of my my parents' friends, message me and tell me that they see me on the show and, they like what we're doing. So all of the feedback, or most of the feedback I've received has been pretty positive. I did have one feedback once under one of our live videos where someone told me to stop speaking Siri. So that probably was the only negative feedback I can recall, but yes, mostly positive. People like what we're doing. So I'm
Yeah,
happy to be a part of it.
I remember that. People say, and Daniel was like, "Oh, why?" I said, Daniel,
So,
don't
so
mind them.
Dennis,
Every Liberian want to speak series, and your series is good
so
now, so they're trying to be jealous. So,
so
Asuni,
so
let me go
Dennis,
on the
Dennis,
feedback.
I just gotta come. Let me ask a quick question before you go. I think you can start a class to teach Daniel how to speak Liberia. That would be nice.
No, the giant Gemma Gina is gonna is having that on a YouTube TV series. But Danielle is from Carisburg, and she's learning the pellet now. So keep your fingers crossed. So apart from what we're doing on Focus on Liberia, we also have every Friday has our debate Friday, and I think one of the well, Alex have participated in that debate. Mr. C have co-hosted. So Mr. C, you talk a lot of our politics. I want that feedback too, but also feedback from debate Friday. I think we have taken Liberian debate on a new level, Mr. C.
Mr. Jazz, and that is definitely very true. I was shocked that I was in this chat room. I stay in Nikru Town in Liberia for 10 years, and a friend of mine was able to put me in the Nikru Town chat room. They call it Nikru Town Politics. So I've been there, I have not commented on anything. And this day, for some reason, I got there, and these guys were arguing about something very political, and they couldn't get to resolve it. So the guy said, well, we can take this thing on Focus on Liberia so that everybody can hear from us. And then the other guy commented, Mr. C, are you listening? So when I saw that comment, I said, whoa. So the debate Friday thing we started, people are getting to know about it, and everybody now want to debate. So yes, the debate Friday that we have started yet, Focus on Liberia, is gaining steam, is gaining momentum. A good number of Liberians are talking about it. And I guarantee you, if any two group of Liberians want to debate anything now, the first network I believe they will mention is Focus on Liberia, or will be Focused on Liberia, because we are the only network they see now that bring in two individuals, sometimes three individuals or four, to debate on a particular topic. I think what this is also doing is that it will provoke our national leaders and politicians to be able to debate the issues. Our past election, we realized that there was not much debate held. Some candidates stay away from the debate. Here in America, where we are fortunate to live, we see that all the candidates show up for debate. They tell their people what they want to do, and the people have access to them through the debate platform. And this is why we have started. And I think the feedback has been very, very, very tremendous. And people inbox me, hey, but man, I want to be on you guys' debate. And what topic you guys, got coming on next. Then I will try to explain to them, this is how we do it. You want to have a debate or participate in the debate. We introduce the topic, we reach out to people and all that. So yes, the feedback has been tremendous. I think it's a good thing that we are doing. Going another feedback from the Hour of Politics, as you guys know, politics, I think that will be the middle name of Liberians. Liberians love politics. So on the Hour of Politics, in just less than 4 months, we started a program. It has become a household name to those who have been following. People want to come on the Hour of Politics. They want to play hardball, and they see the interaction, back and forth with our guests, how we ask tough questions, but we are civil, we are very responsible, and we don't do the name calling thing. And I think people are liking that. And I'm sure that when gradually people will get tired with the name calling, people opinionating all over the place, they want to come to a forum or a platform where people opinions, people assumptions, people beliefs, all that thing can be challenged so that they can get informed in a more responsible fashion. here at the Hour of Politics going forward, what we want to do, one of the recommendations we got here today is how to increase our viewership, things that we can do to increase our viewership and our audience. So here I focus on, the Hour of Politics. We want to bring in the big names, people that make all the news. We will do our best to go after them and give them reason why they should come on our platform to answer questions. And when we bring them, what we're going to do also is we'll hold them accountable to the things they have said in the past, they are saying now, that are bringing the tension in the country, because we know that words have consequences. We heard that maybe another, somebody in the government said that, let's weaponize. What do you mean by weaponize? When that statement was made, getting a little protocol here, because that is what we do here at the Hour of Politics. After he said we need to weaponize against the opposition, somebody was adopted, was drugged, was gang raped. This the case of Justina Taylor. There's a possibility that he might not have given these people the specific instruction that go after this person, but because he having to be a leader in the government and he have said that, and this other person having to have said something against the government, maybe those devotees, as Daniel will say, decided to go after this young lady for her views. And today she's a victim. And we think when we bring people on this platform, we will hold them accountable on the things they say, because we want them to be able to communicate to their supporters, to the citizens in a more responsible factions, so that there will not be consequences because they have expressed their opinion. This is what we want to do here at the Hour of Politics.
Thank you, Sonny. And I see your caller or post about whether we have sport news. We have things in the pipeline coming. We want to have sports, someone come here to do sports, just sports. We have somebody who's coming to do a health talk about health. And someone will be talking about relationships. And we have somebody else coming to do literature, mainly books, book reviews, and the rest of it. So these are all things that are being worked out in the background. It requires, a lot of energy, as we all know. We all here in America, we have our day job. This is part-time, but and so to get people commitment is not easy, but we're trying to work through that. I'm very blessed for the incredible talents that we have at our Focus on Liberia. And so at this time, we're going to be getting our final comments. I know there are so many people to thank. And yeah, William is back. So William, I'll pass it back to you.
Definitely, we looking forward. Look, 2 more days into the new year. 2 more days into the new year, 2020. We are all anticipating what will happen tomorrow in Mama Liberia. We know that, like the Bible said, that too shall come to pass. And so, as a whole, for Focus on Liberia, for all of our viewers, definitely hold Liberia in prayer for tomorrow, and understand that that too will pass. And we look forward to the new year. A lot of things are going to be happening on this platform, Focus on Liberia. We're just so happy, and we want to say to those who have joined us on your Facebook Live, we want to say thank you plenty, like they say in Liberia. And also, just tune in, share this, tell a friend about it, and let's start conversations, and let's see where they lead. Thank you so much. And we're going to be signing off shortly. I'll let Dennis, you'll take us home. Daniel, thanks. Anthony, I'm not brave enough to come into that area of politics, brother. But I do watch the show like this morning. It was very, very interesting. Thank you.
I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart, and even those that are not on, or our product engineer and guest relations manager who do a lot of work in the background. Mrs. Stephanie Setro is not here. She was supposed to join. I think something happened. I'll be calling her right after the show. I want to say thank you to her so very much. And Danielle has been with us, and we all have spouses who support us for what we do. So I want to say thank you to you and your spouse. And William, your family and the little boy who comes on the show all the time. I mean, we
Yeah.
are so blessed. We all have families and we know how doing anything on top of our day job is really, really hectic. And thank you so much for your support and the hard work. Depu he has just returned from Liberia. He's even getting situated, and we threw him in the midst, and he's there. We're expecting our West African correspondent, Edward
Edward, yeah, man.
from Sierra Leone, but he was not being able to. So even before we close, I think I will to do him that favor. I'm going to play the news from him that are on the. He sent us a clip, but I want to thank like my wife and my children because with the kind of thing I do here, if I didn't have a supportive wife, I mean I'm going to first of all crumble, or I'm going to be bachelor very soon. I want to say thank to Eugenia and the kids. Very supportive because the kids they have their time and we do show quite often. So when I'm doing a show, we are competing for internet. They have to go upstairs. They have to be quiet, and I'm disrupting their daily routines just for Mama Labra. So for cooperating with me and putting up with me, I want to publicly tell them thank you so much. And all our viewers, there are people that we talk to that give us ideas. All the ideas you see, all the production, they do not come from one person. They are a group behind the scene that give us all the ideas and all the support. But before I go any further, let me play this the news roundup from our West African correspondent, Mr. Edward Amara.
Good evening, Mr. Ja and co-panelists. Here are the latest news summary from the continent of Africa. Survivors describe deadly Burkina Faso mining convoy ambush. Survivors of a deadly attack on the mining company in Burkina Faso have spoken to Reuters news agency about the ordeal. Authorities say at least 38 people were killed in the attack and more than 60 injured. Many families are still looking for missing relatives. Survivor Abdul Kabiri said some of the attackers shouted Allah Akbar, Arabic word meaning God is great, before opening fire on buses after a security escorting the envoy hit a landmine. He believed the number of deaths from the ambush far exceed the official toll. The 3 buses which were shot, there were so many dead. It was over 100. We were on the ground. We saw everything, he told rioters from a hospital in the capital city, Ouagadougou. In another development, at least one person killed in an attack on a minibus in Mozambique. A minibus was attacked by militants in central Mozambique this week, killing at least one person, police say. Police confirmed that the ambush took place on Wednesday in Gondola district, Monica province. They said armed men targeted the vehicle before setting it alight. Police officer Mario Anakaga said the attackers had wearing uniforms associated with the former Renamo movement. They put the death toll at 1. But a report by independent television station STV said a second person died when a gunman opened fire on people walking in nearby fields. Mr. Anaka would not differentiate between the Renamo movement that signed a peace deal with the government earlier this year and a top group of breakaway fighters that denounced that deal. Okay, in another interesting development also, in the eastern part of Africa, we have phone spying software too expensive for me, Rwanda president lamented. Rwanda president Paul Kagame has hit back allegations that he spy on opponents through their phones, saying the technology needed to do so is too expensive for a kind of country like Rwanda. Speaking at a press conference in the capital city, Kigali, on Friday, Mr. Kagame said he wished he could afford the technology to know more about his enemies. A Rwanda exile living in the UK told BBC that he believed he was a victim of a WhatsApp hack. Passini said he and fellow members of Rwanda National Congress, a group opposing the Rwanda government, were targeted by the message in SAP. Citizen Lab, a research group of the University of Toronto, confirmed that he was a target. But reaching the Uganda information minister, he declined to further make a comment. Okay. Furthermore, in southern part of Africa, Zimbabwe sacked more than 200 doctors over strike action. The body in charge of the public health service in Zimbabwe has said that 211 doctors have been sacked this week because of their ongoing strike for better payment. Also, we are found guilty of abstaining themselves from duty without leave or reasonable cause for 5 or more days, according to a statement from the Health Service Board, HSB. The strike began in September. The HSB said almost a third of all doctors, 516 out of the 1,601 employed government-funded hospitals have faced or will face disciplinary tribunals. The Zimbabwe Hospital Doctors Association has not commented on this latest news, but earlier complained of intimidation. The Reuters News can confirm. In another interesting development, in Angola, we have app-based shopping grows in Angola. Angola is Africa's 8th largest economy, and the capital city, Luanda, is home to growing online retail sector. Tupuka is the country's first app-based shopping platform and has expanded from food deliveries, providing a wide range of products and a hailing service. The BBC Larato Membala told the CEO Eric Semazid and Chief Marketing Officer Whistle about the farm growth, and they hope that all African countries will follow suit. Then finally, we head to DR Congo warlord to appeal 30-year sentence. The former Congolese rebel leader known as Terminator will appeal against 30-year prison sentence. He was given for war crimes and crimes against humanity, the AFP's news agency report. Bosco Nampangaga was convicted on 18 counts, including murder, rape, sexual, slavery, and using child soldiers in Democratic Republic of Congo. His sentence on Thursday was the longest ever handed down by the International Criminal Court. In the statement on Friday, the court decision contained many errors of law and fact. They said Bosco Nampangaga is fine and retains strong. Bosco Nampangaga is at peace with himself, they added. Reporting for Focus on Liberia, I am Edward Amara in Kenema City, Eastern Province, Sierra Leone.
That's the report from our West African correspondent, Mr. Edward Amara. Again, gentlemen and lady, I want to thank all of you for those who are working tirelessly for Focus on Africa, on Liberia, those that are in the background, those that are in the front lines, those that are reporting, those that are even supporting us. We have a lot of people that are supporting us in the background. All our former panelists, we keep in touch with them so as to get the ideas. And all of you, we are so much indebted to all of you for your time. Thank you so much. And back to you, William, to finally close this.
Well, thanks everyone. I believe we're gonna continue the show. This is the last show for the year, right? Anthony, Alex, everyone. I think we're gonna pick this up. I know the Focus on Liberia, the economic one, is gonna be next week, Saturday. But I know we have something on Friday. Dennis, do we have another day too?
Yeah. On Tuesday, we have the Hour of Politics with Mr. C.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why I thought it was on Friday.
And then Wednesday, on New Year's Day, we're going to have a New Year special, just the way we had the Christmas Day special.
New Year special?
Yeah.
Which one is that? Who's hosting that one?
Mr. C and me.
I'm definitely going to be joining in then. I'm going to sign in and see what's going on in the political arena.
Right. On Wednesday, the New Year special, we're going to be, a lot of times you see the young people, Amanda, where to work. So we're going to be delving into student politics.
Right.
We have some former student leaders from the University of Liberia that are going to be on. We have student leaders from the 1970s that are going to be on. So we can look at how student politics have been over the years, what the objectives have been, how it has changed from year to year, what they hope to achieve. And it will interest you why when some of these people graduate from the university, you don't hear them in politics or see them in politics, what's going on. So we're going to be having that as our New Year special.
Looking forward to it. I will be joining as an astute, seasoned politician who refuses to jump into politics.
That would be great.
Yeah, so Mr. King, sorry that you tried to miss that one. I get the last laugh on this network always. Tuesday is the last program of this year, 2019, and it will be here on our program, The Hour of Politics.
To all of our viewers, please, let's make it happen. Tuesday. Thank you.
Liberia people.
It's good night from all of us. Happy New Year.